That's right, that's right. This is What's Good Phoenix with your host, Awer, and
DJ Tranzo.
And today we have a special guest with us today. You want to introduce yourself, my brother? Yeah.
What's up, everybody? What's good, Phoenix? This is ET, Tres Leches Cafe. We in the house.
Yeah. Welcome,
brother. Welcome, cousin.
Welcome to
cuz.
What's Good Phoenix podcast. This is where we're interviewing Phoenix legends and people who contribute to, the city culture of Phoenix, for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I would say that you are one that is very known for that and and doing big things for community, the culture, man. And thank you so much, cuz, for coming on and talking with us and sharing your journey and your story.
And my dream.
With that said, we're gonna kind of get to know you. You know what I mean?
For sure.
To see who you are and what you've been up to.
I know a lot of people know who you are, but for those who don't know who you are or don't know your story, this is where we're gonna get a chance to tell everybody the details. So let's start off with where are you from?
So I grew up. I'm from here in Phoenix. I grew up in
born Phoenician.
Yeah, born Phoenician. I grew up on the west side. Yeah, Maryvale. Went to Maryvale High School. Lived the duration of my life in Maryvale till I was about 18 years old. But yeah, west side.
How'd you like Maryvale?
I love Maryvale. I mean, that's home is where the heart is.
Right on. Show that love, man. Show that love. So E.T. owns a well-known Mexican coffee shop here in Phoenix, Arizona called Tres Leches Cafe.
And bakery.
Yes. Good pun. Good. So we just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things, like how you got started, how you got inspired. It's a story that I'd love to hear, just so you kind of share that story with our audience.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, I got it.
However you want to share it, brother.
So,
take it from the beginning, man.
Yeah, let's go to the beginning. I think we should do that, Tranzo.
Let me see if I can think back that far.
Yeah. Let's take it to the first Tres Leches.
Yes. Unless there was another mission before that, unless there was something before Tres Leches came around.
We can start with I'll give everybody a little story that I don't think everybody knows. When I originally wanted to start a coffee shop, it was not a Mexican coffee shop.
Really?
I actually wanted to start a hip hop coffee shop, and everything was supposed to be hip hop inspired. It was supposed to be a real authentic hip hop cafe, hip hop everything. And things that ended up they didn't continue down that flow as I was starting to create the menu and just working on a lot of different things. I kind of decided not to do that. And then especially because I wasn't doing this for fun, this was something that I was going to create to be able to live off of. And as much as everybody loves hip hop and all of that, I didn't think that people were going to drive across the city to come to a hip hop coffee shop, not families. You know what I mean? Not people that I wanted to, that were going to contribute to me being able to support my family. Not to that extent. So a novelty coffee shop went to the side with that. And then as I was creating the menu, though, too, a lot of the drinks were Mexican inspired. And then, I unintentionally ran into the recipe for the Tres Leches lattes as we produce till this day. And once that happened, then Tres Leches became a big part of the coffee drinks. And then I had Mexican flavored coffee drinks that I was making, that I was creating. And it just started to make sense that I should probably just do a Mexican coffee shop. And during that time, Mexican coffee shops didn't exist. I looked up coffee shops and my drinks that I was creating, names, recipes for all this stuff. None of this stuff existed. So I was like, okay, I got something because I'm going to do something that nobody's ever done before. And I'm going to really invest a lot of time into this recipe for each drink to make sure it is bulletproof and nobody could touch it. Nobody could mess with it. And so little by little, I started creating drinks in my kitchen at my house. And during this time, I actually lived it was four corners. It was was three corners? It was Maryvale, Glendale, Phoenix, and I lived in the Phoenix neighborhood, which is on 43rd and Bethany. When I started creating the menu there from the house that I was living at, I started doing. The first drink I ever did was like a dulce de tres leches, I called it, which was like really delicious caramel drink that I ended up deleting off the menu when I had my coffee cart days because it wasn't bringing that fucking fire that everything else was on the menu. And then it was a familiar flavor, which was caramel, but that's what I wanted people to be able to get comfortable and be like, oh, delicious. Like, this is the best caramel latte I've ever had. You know what I mean? And caramel people were over it. You know what I mean? So I had to delete that. But I did the Abuelita chocolate, which was a Tres Mexicanos drink. I did the Tres Aztecas in my kitchen at home. And then I did the Cafe Churro in my kitchen at home. And then I was always working in the Cafe Horchata. In the Cafe Horchata, I literally worked in the drink probably 5-6 times each morning for was it for 6 months? Yeah, it was like for 6 months, bro. And it was rough because like it's something that I never gave up on, but it was literally trying to mix oil and water. And a lot of people serve cafe horchata now, a lot of different places. Even like in California, there's a lot of spots that sell cafe horchata. And if you go to these places, like, drink them and taste them and see if they really taste like, because my goal was to make sure that it tasted like horchata and then it also tasted like coffee.
Those original flavors.
Yeah, I didn't want you to drink it and be like, I can kind of taste the horchata. Or I can kind of taste like, it kind of tastes like horchata, because that's what usually happens when you go places and you're trying food, drinks, whatever, even beers. They have like flavored beers now sometimes, and you're like, it kind of tastes like pumpkin, or it kind of tastes like whatever the package says. You know what I mean? And I never wanted that to be the case at the cafe with any of the drinks. So I wanted to make sure that horchata slapped. And then also there was coffee flavor too. And then they balanced perfectly together. So there was a lot of back and forth and trying to figure out what I had to do. And then I ended up formulating an horchata recipe that was to mix with coffee, and it's still the recipe that I have to this day. I did tweak the recipe like 3 different times throughout the duration of the business, but it was never intended to drink by itself. But people love it though by itself. But it's not a normal horchata. It's an horchata that was formulated to mix with coffee.
So things just always seem to work out. Sometimes we're that way, where you are intending it for one thing and people just like it the way it is.
Yeah. And I still to this day, I want to make like a OG, really delicious horchata Awer that I don't want to mix it with coffee because it's not going to be intended for that. And I know people are going to want to like, just throw something in there. But I'm like, no, because it's going to ruin it. And I know like we have one of our menus it's called a Café Escondido menu. It's almost like an atole inspired menu where it is, they're hot drinks, but they're hot drinks that were intended to create non-coffee drinkers to commit to wanting to try something different. There's like a mazapan one. We have one that's the pecan, which is called pinche pecan, and the mazapan one actually is called huera de la rosa, and they're just white based aguas that are blended and formulated to kind of have this atole style. I don't want to call them atole because it's not, and I don't want nobody to like, that's not atole. You know what I mean? They're inspired. They're kind of tiptoeing around that type of drink, but not exactly like it at all. You know what I mean? They're just hot drinks. They're milk-based. They are blended with white espresso, so you can't taste the coffee, but you get that kick. You get that caffeine kick. But a lot of these drinks weren't intended to be, or they weren't intended to mix with regular coffee flavors, because then you can't taste it. It gets rid of that delicious caramel butter pecan flavor with the pinche pecan, or the mazapan deliciousness starts to disappear once you introduce such a bold flavor with coffee. Wow. You know what I mean? So, but with
you're making me thirsty, brother.
Yeah, and again, it was like a sneak move to try to get people to be like, because you can order it without the white espresso, but if you do want the caffeine kick, you can drink it and be like, I don't like coffee. And I'm like, cool, just drink this, and you'll get a pick me up. You know what I mean? It's no coffee flavor at all. You know what I mean? But I wanted to do something different so that even kids can come and be like, hot chocolate is like, it's that's so basic. Like, what else do you guys got? Oh, we got like a hot mazapan drink. You know what I mean? Try this. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Oh, it's so good. Yes. And then the adults love it too.
I will say I picked up a bag of the pinche pecan coffee, took that home, and brewed that, and it was amazing. My house smelled of pecan, and coffee, and I mean it was. I like the French roast. You know what I mean? I like the French roast coffee, which is a darker, more oily, textured coffee. So, but it was one of the best ones I've had. You know what I mean? At Tres Leches at the coffee shop.
Yeah.
You make your you offer your coffees in bags?
Yes, the coffees are. We have 3 flavors right now that we offer in the flavored coffee beans, which is the cafe horchata or the horchata flavored coffee, the pinche pican, and then there's also the Aztecas flavor, which is like a Mexican chocolate flavored.
Do you do shipping?
We do actually. We ship nationwide.
Awesome.
Yeah, so a lot of our customers have actually that used to live in Phoenix that have moved relocated for jobs or moved because of the pandemic. They still follow us and they can still order the Tres Leches coffee, and we'll ship it to all 50 states.
So if you used to live here and you used to go to Tres Leches and now you still want Tres Leches,
you can still order it and have it delivered to your front door.
And where do they order it from?
At our website at treslechesaz.com.
I think it's amazing, man. Just what you were saying about like your research and development on your product. You know what I mean? You really care about how the customer is going to feel, with their experience. Many times I've been in the coffee shop, like I can just sitting here right now, and I can just by just being in your presence and being, at the coffee shop, and just it's a destination, to go. I mean, I not to knock on Starbucks, man, but their coffee's always burnt. You know what I mean? And half the time when I'm sitting there sipping on their coffee, it's inside of a grocery store.
Yeah.
There's nothing aesthetically that feels so welcoming and warm. And then if you go into the Tres Leches coffee shop, you can see so many just diverse people, sitting there eating like a huge concha, you know what I mean? And, or just
8-inch concha.
8-inch concha that fills up like a whole plate, you know what I mean? Or the kids, you know what I mean? So it's so amazing just to see like the art and the colors and the staff and everything, that you're doing over there. And I really appreciate that you're thinking of us. And that's what makes me go, you're a small business. But for me, I'd rather take a drive as far as I live probably an hour out, to drive to just go in the coffee shop and just to sit there and order coffee and just, I don't know, man, just sit there and ponder. And half the time I take my sketchbook and I draw up in there, or just saying hello to people,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do it, might as well do it local,
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're going to drive all the way here, just wait till you get your coffee.
Yeah.
At Tres Leches,
And you have an amazing staff. You have a chef that has just been really, really killing it, man, as far as like the texture and how it tastes and stuff. And I'm all about textures and stuff. Us growing up and having Bon, at our table, you know what I mean?
The way it feels.
Yeah. So for us, it means something to have it a certain way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of spices and a lot of different things in there that take you back to your youth, you know what I mean, drinking coffee with your tata or things like that, you know what I mean? So I really appreciate that, what you put into your brand, into your coffee.
Yeah.
I like personally, I in this era now of the Latinos and the Hispanics, which is great. I support all that, but I really like the identification of being a Mexican cafe. That really is a big thing to me, because that's just part of who we are.
Yeah.
Because you could have been a Latino cafe, you could have been a Hispanic cafe.
Yeah.
And that would have probably worked just the same.
Yeah.
Honestly, because but I personally like the Mexican touch on it.
Yeah, for sure. To touch what Adrian's saying right now about the bakery, so a lot of thought about the bakery, the pan, like all of that. There's a lot that goes behind it. We're a very young bakery. We're rookies to the game, and but we're making a lot of noise, and we're really trying to make sure that everybody knows and understands like this pan that we're making is different. You know what I mean? We're really trying to do different stuff with it. And no disrespect to like any panaderias in the valley or in general, but pan has been being baked and introduced and shown and sold the same exact way
I agree.
Forever. You know what I mean?
I
And
agree.
there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's everything about it is, I still go to panaderias. I still indulge in OG conchas. You know what I mean? Regular conchas and. With no flavor, just colors.
This thing tastes like a sponge, man.
And
or the cochito's too hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what Tata said. It don't matter. Dip it in your hot coffee; it'll soften up.
Yeah, and so when having the ability to be able to have that control and to create the cochito to be soft and delicious and not dry, there's a lot of thought going behind that. A lot of discipline with the bakers, a lot of paying attention to like, you know, the recipes, the dough, even when it comes out the mixer, to be like, okay, something's off. You know what I mean? We're not going to bake this yet. We need to check it's not sticky enough, or it's too dry, you know, whatever it may be. Like, we got to fix this before we throw it on there, roll it out, and start punching it out. So the same thing too with the conchas, man. We started making the conchas. I'm like, hold on, let's bust the concha open really quick and look inside of it. Is there anything magical about this? Do you smell it? Can you smell the concha before you take a bite? Can you taste it before you even take a bite of it? You know, because sometimes you can smell stuff and taste it and you salivate. You're like, oh my God.
So this is what they call the science of concha.
Yes. Well, I find myself every time I go and, you know, I always get my pan first before my coffee, because when I go up.
And that's the rule, by the way. Get your pan first before you get in line.
Yes, because, if you think you're going to get it at the very end, there's not going to be any.
Yeah.
But typically what I do is I go in, and the first thing I do is pick my bun. And the thing of it is, man, I'm always indecisive because everything is so great. I mean, everything that's right in front of you is the giant conchas, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, but I want a cochito. But there's pumpkin empanadas. They're usually not here. You know what I mean?
We gotta make a bonflight then.
Yeah. So exactly.
Adrian just takes one of each.
Yeah, that would be, bonfly would be dope. So I finally select the bun that I want, and I go open an order, and now I'm just hit with this fall menu. And it's amazing. If you could touch base a little bit on your fall menu, because every time I go, it's as soon as your fall menu drops, I forget about every other drink that's there. But if you just just a little bit, you have to go do the whole list. But just some of the the bangers, you know what I'm saying, that you can kind of request to everybody to go out and grab them.
So number one for sure is going to be the pumpkin pie horchata. And so the pumpkin pie horchata can be served as an agua or as an agua sucia, which I really. A lot of the drinks that we have there, we do this with our milk-based aguas with espresso. So the pumpkin horchata, I think I created it probably like 3 or 4 years ago. It was really cool because the day that I announced that we were actually going to introduce it, Javier Soto from 3TV and Good Morning Arizona was there at the shop doing a thing that day, and we announced it live on the air.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't get to put it on social media yet, but it got announced live on.
Shout out Javier Soto.
And so but the pumpkin pie horchata, make sure you get it as a sucia. Even trying it with the white espresso too is gonna be something amazing. We do have another drink called La Morena, which is a cafe churro, but it is introduced with the dark brown sugar, which we call it La Morena because it is the cafe churro's dark sister.
Yeah. I know her. I like it.
And so
and
and then another drink which
Give me two of those.
Give me two morenas. Make them sucias. They already have a coffee served. Put them another shot.
So real quick, what is a sucia?
So a sucia is an agua sucia, more identified as a sucia as we call them at the shop, but agua sucia is basically a milk-based agua with espresso, and I got this from the way I developed the name for this drink is because of the dirty chai. If everybody's ever ordered a chai before, know that you can get a dirty chai, is a chai with a shot of espresso, and I was like, well, what if we use that same terminology, but then we used a little bit of our language in there and made it a sucia because calling it something else isn't as fun. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I was like, if we had our sucias, you know what I mean? Then, and I watched it at the casita when we were on 15th Avenue Roosevelt. These girls would come up, they would order, and they'd be like, let me get a sucia. Ooh, look, bitch, this is your drink. Your sucia. You know what I mean? And then they would be bickering at the register, and I love it. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, this was the whole point of
all
it.
the wordplay on it.
And they got to have fun with it. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest part, is just to come, have fun, relax, get excited, and then you taste the coffee, and it's like, fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, but I am actually a sucia now.
I also like the wordplay like you have on the sides of the cups, where you the grandota, the shorty, and the OG. Where did that derive from?
Yes, let's touch, because I want to touch back on this. So the Hip Hop Cafe, and so that's where the shorty and the OG came from, for sure. Okay, but the OG, right. I know like OG is not really. It is and it isn't kind of hip hop. You know what I mean? It's a term that is most definitely used as original grande. And I do actually want to share something about OG really quick, and it's gonna turn into the
exclusive.
So check this out, because I used to deal with greenery back in the day. So OG, most definitely known as the initials for original gangster. But going into the marijuana culture, OG Kush, I have a story about that. A lot of people think that OG Kush was original gangster Kush, but it was actually, the term is ocean grown, because these gringos had started growing weed on the fucking beach. And that's where, you know, and they grew it. They were beachside, and they grew OG Kush over there, and it was ocean grown. That's what the OG stands for. But
ocean grown.
So if you didn't know, if you're a weed smoker and you're smoking that OG Kush,
it's ocean grown, man.
Well, speaking of that ocean grown, check it out. You guys are now offering, if you still are,
the
CBD infused.
The CBD infused lattes. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, so that story kind of tied hand to hand. All right. So check it out. CBD.
So I hope our listeners are just taking notes.
Take these notes. Yeah.
I'm going to get this one.
Yeah. So
I'm going to get that one.
So you can come and request any of our delicious Tres Leches lattes with the CBD cold brew versus the regular espresso. And you can even mix it. I think some people mix it too. But I will tell you, the CBD coffee is more CBD than it is coffee. You do not get a caffeine feel out of drinking these drinks. You get super mellow, so laid back. A lot of people that do partake in the herb communicate to me
the devil's
that,
lettuce, per se.
They tell me they'll either medicate before or after when they drink these drinks, and they just levels them out for the whole day.
Wow.
The CBD that we have is water soluble, and it hits the bloodstream instantly. There's no waiting. There's no, like that.
I'll take two.
And like the first time I had it, when we did the sampling, I honestly felt like I was on vacation. I was so chill, very relaxed, very loose, and was not ready to go back to work. I will tell you that. So
who needs to work?
But yeah, so yeah, you can come up and get it. You can do the agua sucias or the regular lattes that we have in the menu with the CBD.
Nice. Awer's pick for Tres Leches is the Azteca de Calabaza.
Okay, yes.
That's one of my favorite brothers.
So really quick though, I'm gonna touch back though about the name drinks. So Shorty OG. So this is where the Hip Hop Cafe menu started coming into play back in the day. And I left it, you know what I mean? And I kind of just left those drinks because I was like, all right, I already started working on the names of my drinks, because there was going to be the Shorty OG and the Biggie, which the Biggie was going to be the Grandota, but the Biggie was for Big Papa, Notorious B.I.G. But we didn't end up going that route. So the Shorty, when I first opened my coffee cart, we actually had it, the Shouty.
The Shouty. Yeah.
And people, I don't know how people mispronounce Shouty, but people used to come and order the Shanti. And, we used to get so much kick out of it. Can I get
a Shanti, please?
Can I get a Shanti cafe or Jada? Can I get a Shanti churro? I was like, a Shanti? They mean shorty. And we would write in the cup, Shouty, Shawty. We would point arrows at it. It's Shouty, And they were butchering it every time, man. So I was like, let's just go shorty. Yeah. You can't fuck up shorty. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where they came from with the name drinks. And our OG though does not. We're gonna touch back on original gangster. It means original grande, which means this is the fucking large.
Right on. Yeah. So the fall menu is new at Tres Leches, and then also the CBD infused. Those are your newest products. Mm-hmm. And then also, what about some of the pan? Because I also saw a change along with the season. Yeah. I saw a different menu come out with the pan.
Yeah. Okay, real quick though, I do want to touch on one last drink from the news when you talked about the Azteca de Calabaza. So the Azteca de Calabaza, it is a pumpkin mocha. In a sense, it's a pumpkin with Mexican chocolate, the Azteca's chocolate, and we use real pumpkin pie with all of our pumpkin drinks too. By the way, any pumpkin drinks that are on the menu, real pumpkin pies go in them, and then we scoop them and drop them in every single drink, so they're hearty and delicious. But that Azteca de Calabaza, in my opinion, it's probably one of the best fall drinks that you can get anywhere. It's really delicious. It's really hearty. It's a perfect balance of sugar, and that means so much that most people don't understand. You can only blend so much sugar inside of a drink in order to incorporate flavors. Yeah. Your tongue works a certain way when it absorbs sugar. If you coat it with sugar, you can't taste all the flavors. So you got to kind of pull back a little bit in that mixology as you're kind of creating, with whatever you're doing. So Azteca Calabaza is one of my favorite drinks on the fall menu.
So our listeners out there, so if you're listening and you're hearing all these things, the research and development that he's making for your palate to be appreciated, to enjoy.
Definitely, this is his science and his talent.
It's amazing because I don't think anybody from Starbucks can if we were interviewing them, could break it down a lot of their drinks. Nothing
Break
against
it
them,
down now.
but you know, it's just to me, there's a lot of culture, there's a lot of tradition. You know what I mean? And with that, man, I just saw you on the news the other day for Hispanic Heritage. You did a little interview.
Yeah, we both did, man.
Yeah. We both did.
You did not send me your interview, by the way. You only sent me mine.
Did you guys both record it at the same place?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no. Well, I was in the South Phoenix location, and he was in the Van Buren location.
Actually, I was in South Phoenix. Well, you guys were at the Van Buren. Remember that day?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was a big.
I was at South Phoenix.
Yeah.
You were actually you were on your way still, but she was at the Van Buren. We ended up going there to go do everything. But you gotta send me that still. But yeah, so yeah, that's craziness. So yes, I was on TV recently. I was in a couple of things with the TV. Not necessarily myself, but I know Mark Kelly was doing a debate. Like earlier this week or something like that, or no, last week. I'm sorry. He was doing a debate and he talked about the cafe in his debate, and that was huge, man.
Wow.
That was I don't know if I was the only business and I mean, you know what the debates are. They kind of go back and forth on their points on whatever needs to happen for political reasons, for their you know, all the politics that are involved with that. And he pulled the Tres Leches card. He was like, yeah, and Tres Leches, you know, we're doing this, all this and that. Tres Leches is still a surviving business from the pandemic. We did everything to help them. You know, this isn't verbatim. You know, I caught it a little bit as I somebody showed it to me on TV, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I don't know if anybody else got the shout out like that in that because that was a national debate.
We'll be looking for the check in the mail, and then we'll know.
And because everybody was messaging me, calling me, they were telling me, people were like, dude, people are blowing me up right now because they know I know you, and they're like, Tres Leches was just on the debate.
Wow.
But yeah, so that did come out too. I know we also we got aired recently with the on ABC 15 that was at the cafe last week before we went to Washington. And
wait, what?
The SBA,
Washington?
Yeah, we went to Washington.
Oh, well, we're going to talk on that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So, but yeah, before we went in Washington last week, ABC 15 came by with the Arizona Republic, and they're actually doing a couple articles on the cafe right now. I was just speaking to them again yesterday regarding South Phoenix, light rail construction, you know, all of that. And for the South Phoenix location, the drive-through that's out there. But we did a whole article on the pandemic. They did an interview about the pandemic. We talked about it. So ABC 15 also did a little short on the cafe from all that, along with the Hispanic Heritage one too. Did that get aired, by the way? Because I know you sent me a YouTube video.
Yes, it did.
It did? Okay.
Yeah, it's been airing all week.
Oh, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's in commercials right after the Halloween Rice Krispie treats are getting announced.
Yeah, right. So with that, with the interview on Hispanic Heritage, you also got invited for if I'm correct, a dinner with Vice President Kamala Harris. Is this true? Is this a rumor? I know it was true because I've seen your videos.
It has to be a rumor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah,
like what
sure.
you have? What'd you eat? Was it good?
Oh, no.
Where'd you stay?
I mean, I don't know if I want to limit my comments on here about my experience in Washington D.C. with all of that. But
that's one of these.
But it wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. So it was almost like if you got invited and like it like you got all hyped up about it, and you get there and you're like, man, this is not what the invitation. The pictures were not here.
Yeah,
this is not the same. This is the address. No, but it wasn't. It was good though. It was a good experience. I'm gonna take it like, you know, I don't know anybody in my circle or not in my circle, you know, if I've ever met anybody that can say that they got to meet the Vice President of the United States, regardless if it's Kamala Harris or anybody at any time in their lifetime. You know what I mean? So that was a big thing that I really need to just focus in on that and just, you know, enjoy my time there and really just be blessed. You know what I mean? In that sense, and be thankful. You know, and for that opportunity, you know, my kids went with us. They got to experience that Washington, D.C. And then also learn that Washington, D.C. is almost like its own state, even though it's not an actual state.
Yeah, I've been there before too, and you're right.
And it's so weird because at first I was starting to ask my Uber drivers, I was like, yo, are we in Virginia? Are we in Delaware? Where are we? And they're like, this is D.C., baby. I was like, all right. I was like, so, I mean, like, because I know there's like Phoenix and there's like Glendale, but like,
yeah.
Are we in Arizona?
So let me ask, like, how did that come about? How did you get invited?
So the SBA, actually, when they came and did that interview with ABC 15, because the SBA was in the house that day at the cafe, and along with Arizona Republic, when I was talking to them, they actually told me they were the ones that sent them that message, because the White House called the SBA and was like, hey, we're going to be doing dinner for Hispanic Heritage Month at Kamala Harris's house, and we want to get some people there. What businesses do you know in Phoenix or Arizona that would be good? And Tres Leches Cafe for sure. We're here with them right now, or we're getting ready to go meet with them this week. And then here's another business, and I didn't know the other business. It was a construction business that this woman owned, and I didn't get her name. I didn't get to talk to her there. I didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't be like, some people coming up from AZ with you. And it was, the only thing too is like, it was really rough because you had to, upon that invitation, you got to have money to go. They didn't pay your way. There was no accommodations for any of that. You know what I mean? So you have the luxury of having. I
thought I had a per diem, man. You were paying for everything.
Yeah. You'd have the luxury of being able to go, and a small business owner too, to be able to walk away from your business for a few days. That's a lot, and that's a luxury. So I don't know if everybody got to go that was invited, but I know, thankfully, we were able to make that trip.
What an experience for your kids.
Yeah, for sure. We got to see all the crazy places in Washington that we see in textbooks and see on the movies and TV and stuff.
Yeah, when you see it, you're like, yo, this is a real place.
Yeah, I know. I took a selfie with Abraham Lincoln's memorial.
Did you go?
Yeah, I got to see the big old Abraham Lincoln statue and him sitting in the chair. And then they had all the oh man, all the stuff that he had said or whatever it was. I'm sorry, I'm really what's it called right now about any of this stuff. All the quotes that he had, they were like on big old, probably like 50-foot, like stone slabs, like what? Moses.
Wow, you said Moses.
Remember Moses had the stone slabs? Okay, so these were just on a wall, but they were huge, man. They were huge, and they had a bunch of them. So you got to go walk and see him right there in the middle, and then they had the things on the wall, and then across from that was the Washington Monument, if I'm not correct. Yeah, the memorial, whatever it's called. It's the big old steeple-looking thing with the big old lake. Yeah, and I remember it the most from Forrest Gump when Jenny ran across from it to
the big pond.
Jenny.
You smell like cigarettes. Yo, so check it out, man. Did you have a tour with you? Did you have someone touring?
No, we didn't.
So do you know? Did you know that Abraham Lincoln? He's actually he's signing the letter A and L in his hands when he was up there in that. Did you know that? Yeah, that's true. I'm not making that up.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back.
Just to make sure.
I'm gonna have to zoom in on my pictures.
Tranzo's gonna have to fact check me.
I'm going there next couple weeks.
Oh, no. So you talked a little bit about South Phoenix because you do have a second location that just recently it's got a nice manicure kind of put up. I saw some sarape awnings, the paint job.
Somebody's already damaging that too with their big old trucks, their big old grandota trucks.
That's crazy. And then there's the mural that I took part in with Crafty Chica and Patrick Morillo. So what's going on with South Phoenix to let everybody know? You guys are open. You've been open.
Yeah, we opened maybe about 4 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. We reopened that location again. It was closed for some time throughout the pandemic. We hang on to it, and things are been doing a little bit better, and then things started taking a dip again, and we're really trying to figure that out. I'm trying to figure out if we need to invest in a billboard in South Phoenix, or we talked about doing some advertising through the mail. I think they have like letter cards and stuff that you can do, like for flyers. Another idea that I had was to try to do blitz flyering in a lot of the plazas, almost like those dudes that come with the church and they're like, "Hey man, come on, see us on Saturday.
Get Sunday. On the bus."
And you'll go into the store.
You could bring your brown bag.
You go, whether it's Fry's or Target and the plazas in South Phoenix, and you come out and all of a sudden you got flyers too. Paraiso nightclub. I'm just kidding.
Paraiso. He said Paraiso nightclub. He's taking it way back.
You're taking it way back.
No, or just whatever's going on. You're like, man, I did not put in on this. This is on my mixtape. Here's my QR code.
So the South Phoenix location is drive-in only, right? Now, do you have the same exact menu that you have at the Van Buren location there?
Yes, except for the CBD stuff, and we're looking into getting that back up because it's been in high demand over there. High demand.
Ooh, yes. Ooh, I like that.
It's been in high demand for South Phoenix, and so they're going to be taking the kegerators down there, get that CBD cold brew into place. So
and that's right on Central, right?
Yep, it's on Central. And
what's the address to that?
5602 South Central Avenue.
And if you were around back in the day, that was
Papa John's.
Pizza Hut.
It was everything.
It was a lot of stuff. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be Filiberto's.
Was it really?
I believe so.
The home of the $5 burrito.
We used to go cruising and park in there. Park in the driveway. They would let you chill there.
It's a good location, man. When we filmed a small Instagram video there with Dico Munoz, Melo Shots, Tres Leches, and Chingon Estilo, and a few other Lolos and stuff like that. There was a video that we filmed that went viral, and we had up to, I think we're at like 6 million views on that right
6
now.
million, like,
6 million. We're close to.
After 2 million, you stopped updating me.
Yeah, and previously, Decoy was here a few weeks ago and shared that collaboration as well, man. But congratulations on that too as well. That was pretty funny, and that was awesome to see that. We had many people share that all the way from Shaq, like we said, and
the
Sugar
gang.
Free, the gang,
Sierra shared it. Your daughter?
No, man.
But did you share it?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Share?
You make sure you share.
Make sure you share it.
I shared the reshare.
So congratulations on that, because that's a big thing for everybody involved to get 6 million views and to have your name tagged in there is huge.
And if anybody's out there, in South Phoenix, on the weekend and stuff, I see a lot of people like stopping by after church and things like that and coming over. Stop by and grab some cafecito and some pan. If not, head over to the Van Buren location and just have a good time.
What's the Van Buren location?
What's the address?
1714 West Van Buren Street in Phoenix.
Awesome.
Right across from the Canasta in the Capitol.
Awesome. So also what I've seen too is you're starting to do some live art and play some music again in the Kukui room at the other location.
Yeah. And let me share a story real quick on the Kukui room.
Yeah, let's. You know what? Yeah, let's do that, because the last time we had a conversation.
The Kukui room.
Yeah, the Kukui room. Do you know what the Kukui room is?
I don't.
Here we go.
It is the room where the DJs typically set up, but the Kukui room is the black painted room at the cafe. It is the only room that we did not touch as far as repainting that location. We left it black for a couple different reasons. We knew this was going to be the Kukui room. I'm just kidding. No. So the first time we just left it that way because we had an idea about it. I did, trying to figure out what we were going to do with it. And I didn't want to touch it. I liked the way that it looked all black, and it kind of works out now. But so the Kukui room, how it came into play, how we nicknamed it that, where that term came from is when we first got our cameras installed at that location for the security cameras and stuff, motion sensors are in play, all the high-tech stuff for the security. We started getting alarms coming off, and it was during Halloween time. And it was, we kept getting burglar alarms from our security monitoring system. And they would call us and be like, yo, somebody's walking around in the cafe right now. Do you want us to send the police? And I was like, what? And I was like, hold on, let me check my Palm Pilot real quick. Let me see who's there.
Palm Pilot.
And I was like, let me check to see what's going on. And the cameras were not connecting. I'm like, oh, shit, they cut the fucking camera lines. Yeah, send the police out. So we hauled down the first camera alert we ever had, and then we go and there's nobody there. And then later on I was able to view the cameras, and I'm like, there's nobody here. And then I was like, yeah, and then so it kept happening. They kept calling us, and they were like, hey, man, somebody's walking around over there in the Kukui room, before it was called the Kukui room. They're like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, oh, man, yeah, send the police. I guess somebody keeps breaking in. I don't know. The first time I ever had an alarm system, my first business, you know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm all scared about protecting my recipes, like Krusty Krab. Like Mr. Krabs, like, they're after me, recipes.
Mr. Krab.
So we raced down there again, and then nothing was there. False alarm. They were like, yeah, the motion sensors are going on. Maybe it's got a big, I don't know, rat in here or something. What? And I was like, nah, man, there ain't no rats in here. Ain't nobody snitching on nobody.
Right.
And so so later on, we ended up viewing the cameras again. And then I started trying to really study that exact time the alarm was going off. And every time I would see it, my dad had hung up some Halloween decorations, and there was a big old banshee skeleton with a big old drape that was hanging from the ceiling.
Scream like banshee.
And every time the AC would kick on, this motherfucker would start turning. And he would start turning side to side.
That's scary, bro.
And then you would watch, you were like, look at him. And you would see the fucking thing just turning out of nowhere. And I'm like, yo, it's right near the air vent. The AC's making him move. Well, fuck, duh. But then it keeps making the motion sensor go off. And I was like, fuck. At first, we were like, fucking ghost. There's a ghost in there. And then we had to figure out what was the AC just moving the fucking hanging skeleton from the thing. And that's how we, got
in the meantime, it got coined The Kukui room.
The Kukui room after that. This is the Kukui
So that's
room.
the story of the Kukui room.
Wow. I'd rather be on the other side.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about what's going on in South Phoenix though. All the real activity we've seen over there.
Yeah, that's the real Kukuis.
we got a lot of new hires there. We don't want to scare them away.
So with that said, that you have the Kukui room on the one side, right, which is on the east side of the building.
Yeah.
What is on the other side? Don't you have there's a little shop there, correct? That you have that's called.
Oh yeah, the Casa de Lola.
Yes. What is that?
So Casa de Lola is a store that Maggie has. That it's kind of like retail for the cafe now. But yeah, it's just directly in the middle. We do have a lot of like jewelry, coffee mugs. There are Mexican coffee mugs. There is like little purses, a bunch of little stuff you would find at stuff from Mexico. A lot of import stuff. Sometimes we have some pottery that's there and a few other things that are there, and we're always updating it with like the newest and coolest stuff that's coming from Mexico that we're seeing. We're like, oh, we do have a lot of Frida stuff that comes in too, that we try to keep there because we do have a lot of Frida's artwork throughout the cafe and portraits and stuff. Yeah.
Do you have any of Adrian's work?
No. Unfortunately, we
Yeah.
So
I gotta start painting some Fridas or something.
Yeah.
Some Chi-Chi's pictures of Frida's.
Oh, send me some. Looky.
It's so funny that I call Chi-Chi. So there's a lot of artwork that comes from Mexico with Frida artwork, and it's her chest naked. And I always call them Chi-Chi Fridas. We have a couple of them actually hanging at the cafe.
Are those for sale?
These are mine.
These are my Chi-Chis.
You put them aside just for Adrian.
Yeah, same for me.
Yeah.
My next question is, because we're going into a cooler weather, do you have like extended hours? Are you going to have any two questions. Are your hours extended into the evening? Are you going to have any evening events and things like that? Where people can kind of show up and have there's a bonfire in the back or there's some extra seating in the back. You know what I mean? Just things like that.
I wish I could say yes to all of that. But unfortunately, no. And I think that, this is kind of one of the things why I would be very honest and say I kind of need a little bit of help with organizing a lot of stuff like that, even when it comes to just having a fire pit out in the back.
Yeah.
Because we do have a fire pit that's back there, but it needs control. There's a lot of kids that come in the cafe that are, unfortunately unmonitored sometimes, and I have kids. Sometimes your kids can sneak out from behind you to the side of you. You think they're inside and then they bust it out the back door while you're ordering coffee and they're over there roasting marshmallows that aren't marshmallows.
Yeah. Or writing their name with the sticks with the light. You know what I mean? Catching stuff on fire.
Yeah. So that would have to be monitored, and that's the only hazard about that, because it'd have to be a contained type of fire, whether it's a fire pit or whether it was natural gas or like propane gas, or it would be cool to have a real firewood, but then again, we'd have to have somebody out there that would constantly controlling the fire, watching the customers coming in and making sure that there was safety measures being applied. No, and I've dreamed a lot about that back patio with a lot of stuff though too, and trying to open the 3rd Avenue location right now. I know we haven't talked about that yet, but that's still something that's been that is in the works right now, and that takes a lot of time and dedication, and it kind of pulls away from like working on extra projects at the Van Buren.
Is that across the street from St. Joseph?
Yeah, and it's in the old Z Pizza location.
I seen the sticker. Yeah, I've driven by there a few times, and you got your big sticker on the window, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it says like coming soon or something.
So also on the weekends, if you're not having the events in the evenings, I see some vendors and stuff that are starting to show up a little bit because it's getting a little bit cooler and stuff like that. What kind of things are they selling?
So I know we have we have vendors that rotate on Sundays, but then there's also that come in on Saturdays, and then even on Fridays we have some vendors that show up in the afternoons on Fridays at the cafe, and they sell a lot of different stuff. Some of them are local vendors. We try to keep our vendors to the culture and kind of like what we're doing at the cafe, and something that kind of ties around that. We're not trying to not allow anybody else to come in, but being able to have that ability to give our people that power to be able to, and that freedom to be able to come and do their side hustle, their little, business, whatever they're trying to do, you can't really get that door open to you a lot. And that's kind of how the cafe started, like how I was able to. I had a friend of mine, Scott, who had the Scotch Generations, allowed me to come in with my coffee cart and didn't charge me, you know what I mean? And so I started making some real money.
Yeah.
But allowed me to come in and kind of just get out there and show them my name, the cafe, my dream, all of that. And we're kind of just paying back, that to the other small businesses or small dreamers, if you will, to kind of just come push their dream and, do something with it. You know what I mean? And it's, and that's just kind of how that works out with that.
It's always amazing to see these smaller vendors kind of collaborate and then also turn into a restaurant or a store. It started off and I used to vend over at ET's. And the Tres Leches. Oh damn, he got a big old shop now.
And that's if you know some places like that, and I may be ignorant and not following through with some of that. I want to see, because I know sometimes I would walk through there and I would try to give some words of wisdom. Yeah. But it all depends on who you're talking to.
Who you're giving it to, brother.
Yeah. Because sometimes some people, they're scared to take that jump, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I want to make sure that they know and understand, like, it's okay.
Yeah,
it's gonna be okay, especially if they're making money. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, even too, like if you're, so a lot of people are small business owners or trying to get a small business going, but they're shy. You know what I mean? And it's like, there's a lot of foot traffic right here. You better start getting some followers. With my people that are coming through here, with the customers that are coming through here, make them a follower. If they might not buy anything from you today, get them to follow you. They'll follow you. They'll make that decision on their own when they're home, and they're gonna get excited to see you next time when you're here. Versus them just looking at you every day and be like, you know what? I don't know if I need that stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, it's when they're home, when they're comfortable, when they're looking, and, they'll make the decision on them, even if it's a food vendor, whatever it may be. It doesn't have to necessarily be like, no, I'm not hungry right now. And it's like, oh, whatever. You come every day, you never buy nothing from me. You know what I mean? But because they can always share that page, if they see it with somebody else, and that could turn their customer, you know what I mean? A new customer, a new addict, if you will, because there's some people that will buy, over and over and over again to these small vendors. They start getting addicted to what they have, and like, oh my God, I don't need all this crap, but I want it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to call anybody stuff crap, but a lot of stuff that we'll tend to make is a lot of the things isn't what we need to live on a daily basis. I'm not trying to promote that in a negative way, but a lot of stuff people love. These things they want to collect. They start to collect that. You start to build that dream of your dream and their image to them, and then they'll get addicted to it, and they'll start wanting to do that. The cafe we had, the Casarola stuff too, we used to always tell Maggie, it's like, yo, start making a wall here. Start making a wall with a lot of stuff. Let the customers like envision, like, that could be my wall. You know what I mean? And I could do it that way or something similar, but you start to see the stuff, instead of it being laid out, it's actually being on the wall. And then they start to get excited. They start to envision it. Same thing. Yeah.
So how long you been in the game? So just from the year you started till now, how long you been doing this?
So it's 2022 right now. I started in 2015 with my coffee cart at my house. So it's been 7 years.
About 7 years.
It's in May of 2023, it'll be 8. Wow. Start to get ready for that number 10.
So what year did you open the first shop?
2016 October was the actual location for the casita. This was no more coffee cart days.
Yeah, it's time moving on up.
Yeah.
I think it's super dope that you're offering your space up, as a platform for other small micro businesses.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested that would fit into the Tres Leches theme, I guess you would say, do they just email you?
Actually, yeah, we have one vendor that
and is there a charge for that?
No, there's no charge.
There's not even a charge for that.
Not a charge for that. Yeah.
So that's even shout outs again, man, because you're taking your space that you're paying rent at, and you're offering it them for free. Yeah. That's a big thing.
Yeah, and it's because that was kind of the way. Like, I don't need money from anybody, but then I also it can be when you have a small business, like if I started getting charged, there was days when I had my coffee cart that I would only sell one coffee. And I remember those days. I had like under $20 in my sales for the 8 hours that I stood there. You know what I mean? Because I had to hope that somebody would want to drink my coffee today, because I'm doing something nobody's ever seen before. They don't know, you know what I mean? But then I'm inside of a New York deli. You know what I mean? Starting my social media, trying to get stuff going. There's a lot of risk and and all that stuff involved. If I have to start paying money right now, I'm going to start getting, like having thoughts in my head, like, I can't afford this. I can't do this. I can't afford this. You know what I mean? And I don't want anybody to think that way. You know what I mean? Because that's not a thought that you should be thinking about when you're trying to start your business, especially if you have a full-time job, if you have kids, if you're going to school. You know what I mean? Like all these other things come into play. Money you should not be worrying about right now. And I'm not going to charge somebody money yet when they ain't making it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did see that on your interview. You mentioned that you've made 2 adjustments on your pricing and things like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, for our drinks.
For drinks and things like that. So you're doing a lot more behind the scenes.
Yeah, we had to raise the price on our pan a couple of times, and then also for the drinks. And we're probably still the cheapest place in Phoenix that you can get a pastry at a coffee shop, and everybody needs to believe that. We don't. I think the only thing we have is the most expensive is our pineapple upside down cakes, which are $5, and
But that's a meal, though.
Yeah, and they're delicious, and they're large size. But they're largest you can get without getting into like a bundt cake size. They're not 7 inches. They're like a 4-inch. But they're thick. They're delicious. They're sticky. They're juicy. That's $5. Everything else after that.
You got one on you right now?
Ah, man, but I can bring one.
3 of them.
You want to follow me? I can get you one. The other ones though, all the pan is under $5, and I know it's not typically what you pay for pan dulce, but you're not in a typical bakery.
Yes.
You know what I mean? This is a Ranch Market or any other panaderia where you're going to. Like this is exclusive pan and coffee and gourmet coffee with gourmet pan.
I've seen people come in, man. They'll grab a tray and they'll load it up, and I'm standing behind them being. Damn, you just took all the pumpkin empanadas, fool. You had to sit here and watch you do it. You know what I mean? You take 2 or 3 people doing that and then knock it out. You know what I'm saying? Which means that's a demand. So I'm like, it's just like getting groceries. Like, hey man, can I cut you? I only got 1 item. You know what I'm saying? You got this big old basket of stuff.
You have 3 pan trays.
Right?
Yeah.
So I know you're a big music lover.
Yeah.
I remember selling records online a few years ago, and you were hitting me up about some hard house music. So.
And I never came through, and I just want to apologize for that.
I still remember that.
Because you know what? It makes me... if you've ever tried to sell stuff anywhere and people bullshit you, you turn into one of those people when you don't commit to the sale.
No, I didn't bring it up like that.
But he remembered. I remembered, and that was not cool. Not doing but do you still have those records, though?
I do. I do still have a lot of those.
Oh my God.
I sold a bunch of them.
Yeah, I'm a big Hard House guy.
Yeah, Hard House
Oh my God.
is dope.
It pumps through my veins right now. I'll
If
show you
anybody is
my
into
ankle
Hard
tattoo.
House, then you know what we're talking about.
And
you know what Hard House is.
And I've seen in your Instagram stories a lot of the different types of music that you listen to.
Yeah, that was my point. Is
you have a very
broad
from the Smiths. To who else there?
Shablam. And then Blink-182 just got back together. You best believe.
Yeah.
Well, following him, I noticed he likes a lot of the alternative music, 80s, primarily 80s stuff, and just knowing from the Hard House.
How did you get into that style of music?
Which one? The Hard House?
The Hard House.
Both of them are probably a story.
Right.
It's an interesting story.
I mentioned Paraíso earlier, right?
Yes. Oh, we're bringing it back.
So Hard House, I got introduced to, that was the thing back in the day during high school.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I grew up, I'm a 90s kid, born in the 80s. 2000s, it was party scene time. And, there was house music that was, it was just a whole nother vibe that was coming from Cali that was getting pushed into Phoenix, and we were thriving with it like so much. It was a whole nother time that is a big part of my life for I don't want to say a short period of time, but I think I prolonged it more than I needed to. I was in at-house parties in my 40s. I'm almost 40, but I remember seeing some old school cats that were still there from like the early 90s when house was like really popping, that they were still going, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Because like I'll get down anytime.
Did you have the hair in the front and then you had the
I had bangs. I had bangs.
Suspenders?
I had bangs.
You did?
No suspenders, but I had bangs.
Man, I had that too, bro. Did you have
I didn't have bangs. I just been bald since I was born.
Tranzo just stayed bald.
No, I had hair and then I shaved it all off. But it was definitely an era, man. It was definitely the Hard House era is definitely.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I kind of see it like coming back. A lot of the younger generation is playing it. I don't know. I seen it more.
Yeah, I wish. I feel like it's always like that one thing that you feel like is gonna start coming back again, and then it just doesn't.
Yeah.
A lot of DJs, like when I was selling records, I noticed that a lot of DJs were buying it up. but they just seemed they were from back then.
Yeah.
And
I've been talking to a friend of mine online, and we've been talking about having a legendary hard house night at underground at the cafe in the Kukui room.
Yeah.
One night, and we never get around to it. We're talking a lot of shit about it, messing around, but for sure it could happen.
Let me know, man.
Yeah,
I got records.
I know I got records too, and I don't train wreck.
Let me know, and I will shave your head, brother. You know, we'll get you ready, dude.
Well, I'll come on with the bangs. I'll bleach them blonde with some hydrogen peroxide.
So you're a mixer, so you can mix, right?
Oh yeah, I beat match. Yeah, and I remember, and that's how I kind of started the whole Cruda Sunday thing. Those are my turntables from when I used to DJ, my DJ stand, my mixer. I started investing a little bit of money from time to time. Try to have the best equipment available for that, but it is their community turntables that are there at the cafe for Cruda Sundays. And so it's kind of like when, you know, somebody's offering something to you, something breaks. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, if nobody communicates to, you know, Jefe that the, you know, audio wires are busted for 2 months, you know what I mean? I'm out of town or I'm at home with the kids. I can't get some new ones, but, you know, let's invest back into this space that is, you know, ours in a sense that it's everybody's that, you know, wants to come and showcase on Sundays. But,
well, I noticed you guys, Adrian's painting there on Sundays.
Yeah.
You want to talk about Cruda Sundays and what it is and time and
yeah,
and all that?
so yeah, every Sunday at the cafe, whether we have a host DJ or not, there's community turntables that are there. So if nobody's there at 8 o'clock and you want to show up and play some records, or if there's a host DJ that's there, feel free to communicate that you would love to spin me, because everybody loves a restroom break. You know, whether if it's 30 minutes, an hour. And I kind of feel bad because there was somebody who messaged me, and when I came back from Washington, I think it was the day before I left, and I never messaged him back about him coming. And, you know, they always ask permission, but I'm like, bro, they're there. Like, you don't need to. Just tell the baristas, like, hey, I'm going to play some records. They're like, oh, okay, cool. We'll turn the music a little bit, or, you know, whatever. Just accommodate to that. So
now, does it go past, is it 9 to 12 is the Cruda Sunday? That's the actual kind of time slot for that?
It's from like 8 to 12, as it always has been, from 8 to 12 every Sunday. But, I mean, that doesn't mean that nobody can play after 12. You know what I mean? There is no, like, time limit to any of that or restrictions for anybody coming at any time. It's just like we tell the vendors, I'm like, you know, it's busy during these times. If you want to come and set up, I'm gonna be like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
We're playing old. We're playing this music today. No oldies or whatever it may be. But yeah, the theme for Cruda Sundays too is oldies, but it is kind of open to whatever.
So I have a question for you. Now, everyone loves your cafecito and your pan. But where do you go? Where's your special place? If not your own place, where do you go to have something a little different than your own? You know what I mean? I'm just, it's a question that I'd like to know. You don't have to answer it.
No,
but,
for sure. I do, and thank you for that, because I do have like some favorite places that I go to for coffee in the Valley, and I actually don't drink coffee at the cafe. Don't hit me for that, or don't. And I tell a lot of people that they're like
exclusive.
I do love the Cafe de Olla. I love our drip coffee.
I do. I like that too.
I can't remember the last time I've had any of the lattes there though.
Is that the one that's that has a free samples? Is that the Cafe de Olla that's
no, the one that's free samples is just the coffee of the day that we brewed from our flavored coffees. But the Cafe de Olla is a coffee that we cook there every single day. We serve it hot or iced, but it is not brewed at all. We cook it like menudo. Yeah. It's in a pot. It's got spices and everything nice, and it's delicious coffee. And those are the only coffees that I really drink at the cafe. But for favorite coffee places in Phoenix, here we go. So I do have one that I love a lot, but it's super far. It's called Peixoto. It's in Gilbert. It's like East Gilbert too. It's like really far. Peixoto's, they're like ridiculous when they come to mixing coffee drinks. They're really abstract with a lot of stuff that you wouldn't normally see in coffee drinks. But here in Phoenix, I used to go to Lola's a lot. I haven't been as much anymore, and I'm not sure why. But I do go to oh my god, I got a brain fart.
I smell it.
So there is man, I'm gonna pull my phone out for this. It's on Camelback. Kind of. It's on 7th Avenue.
So Lola's is one of the ones you go to, correct?
Yeah.
And then you have and the one you're trying to think of is in different.
Yeah, the other one, but it's like on 7th Avenue. I don't know why I'm losing this, but sorry, I'm like literally looking. I can see it, but I cannot think of the name. I'm having a straight.
Well, just tell us what you see.
See pan.
It is a
see pan.
It is a drive-through coffee shop.
I like pan.
It is a drive-through coffee shop
right.
in Phoenix. It's on 7th Avenue. It's actually just north of Indian School.
This is the suspense right here. People are like, I need to listen.
Are you talking about Copper Star?
Copper Star, yes.
Dang, he got it.
And so, and Copper
Give
Star.
this man a
Oh,
record.
actually, Copper Star is pretty dope.
Yeah,
stuff.
I love Copper Star. They have a drive-through there. I like to get off. I love it inside. It's really vintage-looking coffee shop. They're really cool there. I
got a quick story about Copper Star.
Yeah.
One time I bought a controller, and I bought from this girl DJ. And we meet in public, so we met there. The whole place was packed, and I pulled the whole controller out on top of the whole bar, and turned it on and plugged my whole. It was ready to DJ. Everybody's like, "What is this guy doing?" But I was like, "Nope." But they were real cool about it. No problem.
Yeah. But in Copper Star too, they just started doing. They make bagels now. I don't know if they've always made bagels, but they do fresh bagels there, and I'll get them with the cream cheese of my likings.
My kids like they do those Rice Krispie treats out of Fruit Loops and stuff.
Oh, that's good.
They do those big old ones. So my kids love them.
And another place I've been, and it's actually on Grand Avenue in the same neighborhood as the cafe that I've been going to. It's called Cafeo.
Cafeo
Espresso. And it's a really cool shop. It's actually located in Pueblo, which is a plant shop. And it's almost like a speakeasy coffee shop. I called it that the other day.
Speakeasy coffee shop. I like that.
They have a couple of drinks there. They actually have a fall drink too. I haven't tried yet that I'm excited about going back and getting. But it's a really cool place because it's almost like a plant store outside, and they have tables and chairs, and you can go and chill out in the morning. It's a perfect time right now. Going early. I went the other day in the afternoon. Kind of didn't want to be there because it was so hot. And it was a little sweltering as it is here in Phoenix, but that's some place I've been going to lately for coffee. Well,
thank you for sharing that with us, man. A couple of things before we wrap everything up. Like I said, it's a cooler weather. Everybody's getting out enjoying their cafecito and their pan. You have Cruda Sundays every Sunday from 8 to 12?
8 to 12.
Or 9 to 12?
8 to 12.
8 to 12?
Well, I mean, it's when the DJs get there. So if it's 9 to 12, then yeah.
If the DJ gets there at 10, the party starts at 10.
10 to 12.
One last thing that I want to know so everybody can know that you have. Do you have gift certificates? The upcoming holidays coming up, you want to gift this to somebody?
We have gift cards. We have gift cards available online, such as e-gift cards. And then we also have physical gift cards in each location.
Awesome. Well, I just want to say, thank you for joining us on What's
absolutely.
Good Phoenix.
Thank you.
Continue to dream for us, create for us all these super duper crazy concoctions of cafecito and pan, bro. This is What's Good Phoenix. I'm Awer.
I'm Tranzo.
I'm ET, and we out.
And we out. Peace. Whoa. Come on, kids, get funky with it, E.T. Come on.